Today we are just going to be taking a closer look at the trinomials that we have been doing and just making sure we know very clearly when we can use the shortcut and when we cannot, right? So we've said we are always multiplying that a times c value as our starting step, right? But when a is not 1, okay, we have to do that whole entire factoring by grouping process. When a is 1, then we can just take that factor of a times c and then put that into our two binomials. So really it's just review, and it's making sure we're very clear on when we can use the shortcut and when we can't. So if we look at our first example here, right, in this situation, what does a equal, right? A is always our number in front of the x squared, so our a value is 5. If our a value is 5, that means no shortcut. We have to do the whole entire thing. So we're always starting with 5 times 8, which gives us the 40, and making our list. We're just listing all of our factors that will multiply up to 40. All right, we know we're done because our next value here is 8. These are all positive, so everything's staying positive. So we want our set that will add up to 10. So that's going to be our 4 and our 10. So if we split that up in our pieces here, right, we'll have a 5x squared plus 4x plus 10x plus 8. Once this is in our 4 terms, then we can go through and we can factor by grouping. So we're going to split this in half. Right, we'll pull out our GCF over here, which will be an x. And we'll pull out our GCF over here, which is going to be a 2. Oops, that's a 4. Sorry, I wrote an 8 instead of a 4. Then we're checking to make sure we have matching binomials, which we do. So we can then write this into our two binomials, an x plus 2 and a 5x plus 4. If we look at our next example, x squared plus 14x plus 40, right, when we look at this one, right, we don't see any number in front. So when there's nothing there in front, our a value is really 1, and that is when we can use the shortcut. We should say do use it. So we're still starting out the same, right? That initial step is the same. A times c, 1 times 40 is 40. We're making our list. Okay, these are all positives. So then we're finding our sets that will add up to b, that will add up to that middle number, that add up to 14. So we're going to pick 4 and 10. The difference here is that a is 1, we can use the shortcut, so we can go straight to our two binomials. Right, where our variable is making up the front, and it's a positive 4 and a positive 10. Okay, so we have a few more that we're going to look at over here that we just need to determine which way to go, shortcut or not. So if we look at 3, right, what does a equal? Well, a is 1, so we should be able to use the shortcut on this, right? So 1 times negative 20. For making our list, we said we would start by just making out that list. Right, and then we're going to consider our signs. So if we have negative 20, right, we need 1 positive and we need 1 negative. You can use that sort of cheat sheet list we had a few pages back, or our larger number needs to be the same sign as b. So this side is going to be our negative sign. Now, when we don't see that number in front of here, right, there's really a 1, so we're looking for what adds up to negative 1. And that will be our 4 and negative 5. We said we could use the shortcut here, right? So we know we're going into our two binomials with our variable starting it off. It's a positive 4 and a negative 5. Number 4, we cannot use the shortcut on, right? Number 4, a value is 12. So when we take 12 times negative 1, we get negative 12. We make our list. Okay, in this situation, right, you can use that chart for your shortcuts, but you won't be able to use that for forever. We need one of each sign because it's negative, so we need one positive and one negative, and we need the larger sign to be the sign of B. So we need our larger one to be the positive, so our smaller one is going to be the negative, and we need it to add up to 4. Now, no shortcut on this one, so we have to rewrite this into 4 terms. 12y squared. These pieces that we pick, remember, both get the variables. So minus a 2y plus a 6y minus a 1. And then we'll go into our factor by grouping. So we're splitting that in half. On our left-hand side, we have a GCF of 2y. On our right-hand side, right, nothing will go into 6, that will also go into 1, and they both don't share the variable, so we just have a GCF of 1. So on our final answer, right, we'll write in 2 binomials where our GCFs go together, so a 2y plus 1 and a 6y minus 1. Number 5. A equals 1. So on this one, we can use the shortcut. So we're still starting by taking A times C. 1 times 6 is 6. 1 and 6, 2 and 3. Right? When this is positive, we need our signs to be the same. So in this case, we need them both to be negative. So which one of them will add up to a negative 5? We'll choose a negative 2 and a negative 3. We can use the shortcut, so an n minus 2 and an n minus 3. And then finally, our last problem. So on this one, a is 2, so no using a shortcut on this one. So 2 times 18 is 36. All right, we're just going down and making our list. When this is positive, we need them both to be the same signs. We need them both to be negative. And we need the set that will add up to negative 15. So no shortcut. So remember, we're going to split this up. So a 2a squared minus a 3a minus a 12a plus an 18. We'll split this in half. So on our left-hand side, 2 and 3 don't have a GCF, but they do both have a variable, so we can pull out that a. On the right-hand side, what goes into 12 that also goes into 18? Well, we can pull out a 6, but because this leading one is negative, we need to pull out a negative 6. Right? A negative divided by a negative is a positive. And a positive divided by a negative is a negative. So we have matching binomials. So put our GCFs together for an a minus 6 and a 2a minus 3.